Hello gecko people! Today we are going to be reviewing a product, the Geckopia Flex Bridge. I was interested in this product for a couple of reasons. The first reason was because I have some PVC enclosures and nothing really sticks to the sides of those, so it's kind of hard to decorate them, especially if you're going for more of an artificial setup and you want something that has like suction cups like most elements do, and the suction cups just fall right off. So it's been kind of annoying to try and decorate those, but I thought I would give these a try because they just work with friction. You're supposed to just cut them to size and then wedge them in, and that's pretty much it. The other reason I wanted to try these is because they tout being really good for geckos with disabilities, and as some of you may know who follow me on Instagram, we do have a lychee with a disability. Her name is Tempest. She has a back injury, and so we wanted to downgrade her cage and also make it so that she would be less likely to fall, and try this to see if it's something that she liked. It's made out of EVA foam, which is actually the same foam used in cosplay for a lot of things, so like props and things. It's used for a lot of other things as well, but that's what I've known it to be used for. But yeah, it's the same stuff as that. And we're gonna be going over the different claims that they have on the website and how the geckos like it, and also what I generally think of it. I'm not going to give it any sort of numerical rating this time because that didn't really go over well last time. So it's just gonna be me and my thoughts about this product. And if you want a spoiler, I liked it. So please continue to watch if you wanna know anything more about the Geckopia Flex Bridge system. The first thing I wanted to talk about was the customer experience or ordering these from the website. Usually there are two colors to order or to choose from. There's like black and this pale kind of natural wood color, but they're actually coming out with a third color. I'm gonna insert a shot of the third color so that you can see it, but it's not out yet, and I think you can preview it or like pre-order it. So if you like that sort of almost mossy kind of wood look, that's the new color that they're releasing. I haven't actually seen it yet, but it looks pretty cool, and it would probably look really good in a more naturalistic setting. I actually ended up with only one package of these when I ordered 5 packages, and what I think happened is that you can actually bundle these to reduce cost. I think it's like a 3% discount or something like that if you order in like a bundle of more than one package. So I did that, but what I think maybe happened was they saw one bundle and thought one package and just shipped me one package instead of all 5 of my packages. So I contacted customer service. I took like pictures of the box and everything, and they fixed it for me, so no problem there. But keep an eye on when the box arrives. If it looks like weirdly small, take an opening video and then you can send it to them and they will take care of you. I thought that I would test this on different types of enclosures because we all have different systems. I have several in use right now, so I'm going to test this on PVC cages, glass cages, and your standard plastic tubs. And we're gonna see how these work in all 3. I'm gonna cut them to size for all 3, and yeah, we'll see what ends up working the best. And this will give you a better idea of whether it's something that will actually work for your system that you have, because we all, use different methods to house our animals. This is the only one I've received so far. I got this sort of pale color because it was either that or black. There used to be like a darker wood version, but that wasn't available when I ordered this. So these are the ones that I got. This is the packaging. It's got a little crested gecko on there. And it says to cut precisely with a knife. So we'll see if this is easily sliceable with a knife. And, we'll test some of the other qualities of it. It's supposed to be made of EVA foam. So let's open it up and see. Oops, sorry, I bumped the camera. Oh, yeah, see, I I accidentally grabbed it with my fingernail and it left marks right away. So that's interesting. I wonder if those will go away with time or if I immediately ruined it. We'll see. Oh. Okay, here's I don't know if you can see it. Oop, that's a wobbly tripod, I'm sorry. It says to clean, you dip the Flex Bridge in water, soak for 5 minutes, then scrub gently with a brush to remove dust and dirt. So that's interesting. I guess you can just go ahead and soak it in water straight up and that should clean it. We'll also test that as well. There's a little like feeding divot at the end of this. I'm probably not going to utilize this because my cups are circular, but I might try and wedge a cup in there. Definitely like, you know, it feels like foam. When I have it in my hands, it's soft. I can see why they would say it's easy to grip because it's got that kind of soft, slightly resistant feel to it that certain foams have. See if that fingerprint went away. Nope, still there. No, yeah. So that's interesting. Something to note about these. They're very soft, so it'll be interesting to see if lychee claws destroy this or, you know, or it ends up being fine, because the one that I really want to test this on is Tempest. I'm gonna try wedging it in and see if I need to do any cutting. I'm hoping that I don't, because that would be way more convenient, because I bought the 18-inch size specifically so I wouldn't have to cut it and try and get it all even or anything. Let's put this in the cage and see if it fits. So here's Tempest's cage. It's set up with everything low down so that she doesn't fall too bad. She hasn't really fallen, but we don't want to take any chances because she's very independent and she has very big opinions about getting help. So we try to make everything gentle slopes for her so that she can still climb and be active even though she's got mobility problems. So what I was thinking is that I would try and wedge this in and test it at kind of like a low level here in the cage that she can kind of reach from this log and see if she uses it, for one, and for two, if it stays up. And this way, if it does fall, it's not going to fall very far, so that's my hope. Let's see if it fits. So this is an 18-inch wide cage and the 18-inch size. Oh yeah, it's definitely have to come in at the right angle, I think, because it is definitely wedged. Oh, let me try like this. Oh, the logo's upside down. That'll bother me weird. Let's get it. Let's see if I can get it like. Oh my gosh, it's maybe a little bit too long. It's supposed to be a tight fit because it's supposed to just be held in place with friction. But it doesn't want to be, it doesn't want to be straight. As you can see, it's really like, it may need to get cut in order to fit. You get to watch my struggle. I'm actually gonna measure it real quick and let you know what size it is in practice here. It is actually almost exactly 18 inches. It's actually a little shy by 1/16 of an inch. Yeah, actually measure the cage, I'm curious. The cage is supposed to be 18, but the inside might be less. This is not gonna be perfect measurement. Yeah, okay, so it is like 17 and a quarter, 17 and a half, something like that. Okay, so as you can see, it didn't fit. So I'm gonna try and start cutting it. I'm going to cut 1/4 inch off to start. I have this like old crappy saw that I'm going to try and use. Let's see if I need that. I also have a box cutter. I can find other things to cut it with, but let's try this thing first and see how easily I can cut this to size. Made kind of a mess, but I'll see if it fits now. I'm worried that because it's got this rough edge that maybe it won't fit flush. So I'll probably try to sand that a little bit just to make it more even, and then I'll try fitting it in the cage again. Okay, well, it's not perfect, but it's in, so that did help. I think I kind of squished it a little bit there when I was pushing it in. Just from the pressure of me doing that caused that to dent. So I wonder if that will remain dented or if it will sort of fluff back out with time. But it feels pretty sturdy. I can actually try testing this. It's supposed to hold 10 pounds. So yeah, I'll see if I can find something that's exactly 10 pounds and we'll give it a try. Okay, so I have this 5-pound dumbbell. I'm gonna try and set it gently on here and see what happens. I don't see any reason why we would need more than 5 pounds of support, and also I don't want to dent this thing too much. So let's just try 5 and see how it does. It's going on. Ooh, it doesn't want, well, it is round, so let's try it like this. Yeah, I mean, it is holding. It's round, so it's rolling, but it does bow. Like, it's flexible, but it holds. So, I think for a lychee that should be fine. In addition to trying the Flex Bridge on glass, I thought I would also test it on tubs. Because I do have some tubs and I know that a lot of people use them. And so I thought I would give it a try. I cut this tub actually measures around 14 inches across on the inside. So I cut this to 14.5. However, let me show you what happens. As you can see, it is too loose. Like, I think the thing is that it flexes, so these sides are flexible, and especially right in the middle, it's bowed out a little bit more, and that's kind of the widest point of the tub. So if you want this to sit well inside of a tub, you'll want to cut it like at least 1 inch too long for what you think you need. This is the smallest tub, like width-wise, I was able to find, and this actually fits pretty well. It does flex the sides out, just because, you know, it's a flexible container and you're trying to put something in tight, but it does work. You know, it can be pretty stable that way. So, you know, if you have tubs that you need something to go across, I think this would work well, actually. Something else I wanted to test was the hydrophobic properties of this foam. And as you can see, I've sprayed it. I'll do another little pass here. You can see that the water does bead off. So that's a good sign that it's going to be easy to clean and hopefully very mold resistant.
He's using it. It's not the first time one of them has actually used this organically, but it's the first time I've been able to capture it on camera. So there you go, proof that they will use it eventually. Geckos tend to take a little while sometimes to use a new piece of furniture, so this review has been about a month or so in the making, just waiting for them to acclimate to these and start using them.
Both Diamond and Topaz are sleeping on this. I did not put them there. They put themselves there. And his tail is like tucked in the little food dip. They're just chilling.
Looks like Lilikoi is using hers too. Her arm is in the little divot where you'd put food.
Another thing I wanted to cover was cost, because cost, of course, is a big concern whenever you're buying a new product, especially if you're going to be buying it in bulk for an entire room. These are expensive, I will say. For two, it's $34.88, so two being like one single box with two of these in it. This is the 18 by 18, or the 18-inch length. You can get them in longer length. For the 18-inch with four of these, it's 5% off and then 10% off if you buy 10. So the more that you buy, obviously the more that you save, but also I do have a code for you, and that code is rainy day. So if you enter code rainy day at checkout, you should get an additional % off your order, and that will help with the cost of these, because I do know that it is a little bit high. However, in this case, I do think it is worth it, because I used to use foam, things like pool noodles or like those Home Depot like pipe insulation, you know, the gray foam things that you can get. And I would use those in the cages and wedge them in a similar manner, but like the gecko claws would rip them up. There would be chunks missing eventually out of them, and they would actually accidentally bite the tube if there was a cricket and they miss. And sometimes they would rip pieces off. And I actually had a gecko rip a chunk out and swallow it, and she passed it fine, but after that I stopped using them because I was too scared. I didn't want anybody to get impacted. It was also just it didn't feel great to like go through a bunch of foam. It's not just craft foam, but it's like high quality, high density foam that is also water resistant, sorry. So because of that, when your gecko accidentally misses, they're not going to take a chunk out of this. Their claws aren't going to take pieces off of this. There's not like all these little air pockets that they're going to be able to get their claw in and rip chunks out. So that's something I really love about these. The other thing I also just really appreciate is that the geckos like them. They sit on them, they clearly enjoy them, and it's not just like one time I find them on there. They use these on a regular basis. So if the geckos like these, that's a stamp of approval for me, and I like providing things that they enjoy using. It's easy to wash with soap and water. When I first got these, they do come out and have a bit of a scent to them, you know, like a fresh foam smell. So I let them air out for a couple days, and then I washed them. This foam, it does start to break down or like off gas if it gets really, really hot. So obviously that would apply more for things like uromastics or other reptiles that require really high heat. So if you have something like that where you're making an enclosure that is going to be very, very hot, I wouldn't necessarily recommend these just because of the properties of this foam and what might start to happen if it gets super, super hot. But for New Caledonian geckos, that's obviously not going to be a problem. I haven't seen any molding on these. They've been really great. I've been happy with them. The only things are that they do mark easily, so just, when you're wedging it in, like I was, be a little careful, because this is, while it is high density foam, it does sort of hold when you damage it. So just be careful with your nails if you're putting this in, if you even mind. That the other thing is that this little divot, I've never used it for food, but geckos actually really like to rest different parts in there. Like they'll put their chin in there, they'll put their arm in there. I've seen some of them just stick their tail in there, like the tip of their tail. I don't really put food in here, but you could put food in there. I just didn't want to really have to wash this out every single time that we did a feeding. So that's just something that is like an extra feature that I'm not really utilizing in the way that it's supposed to be used for, but the geckos actually use it for their own devices, and that's fine with me. So I really like these, and I do highly recommend them. And if you do purchase them and use my code, then you can get an extra percentage off your order, and I would love to hear how you like these. If there's anything else you would like me to review, also let me know below, and I can work on making a review for that product. So let me know, and I will see you in the next one. Bye everybody, have a great day.